Hi, I'm Christy from Homeschooling in Progress. In this video, I'd like to share with you a recent nature study that we did in our homeschool on snow and how snowflakes are formed. It was a week-long study, and we had some books that we read aloud and then some activities that we did. So I'm going to share all of those with you right now. The first book that we read was kind of just an introduction into snow and how snowflakes are formed, and that was the book, The Story of Snow. And this is a really great book. The pictures are beautiful and it has a lot of information. So it is the perfect beginning introduction book to get you started on your snow unit study. Just to give you some idea of what the inside looks like, this is an example. But it has the beautiful pictures of the snowflakes along with just, why they're alike or not alike, how they're formed, the different kinds of snowflakes. There was a lot of information I wasn't even aware of until we had read the book. And so this is a great starter piece for your first book to read. The next book we read was Wonderful Winter. And this book, I didn't actually read the whole thing. I just kind of picked some different parts of the book that talked about the snow, because this book kind of talks about all of winter, and it talks about evergreen trees and animals in winter and different activities like skating. And so we just kind of focused on the snow on this part. But it is a great book, especially if you have younger kids, just to kind of talk about winter just as the season in general. Then we moved on the next day to the book It's Snowing. I love Gail Gibbons, so anytime I can find her books, I try to use them with our studies. And this book not only talked about the snow and how it's formed, but it also gave ideas on where there is snow in the world and just, different things like snow days and such. We didn't read too much about the snow days. We more focused just on the actual snow part itself. But it is a really fun book to read. And then the last book that we read is one that I think every family would love to have in their home. And that is the book Snowflake Bentley. And this is about a real man, Wilson Bentley, who lived in Vermont. And he wanted to photograph snowflakes, and he needed a special camera for it. And so the whole book is about his life growing up and how he works to earn this camera and the pictures he takes. And so it's a really fun book. It's so nicely written, and the illustrations in it are really pretty. And then there's also a book that kind of goes along with this. We don't have it yet, but it has his snowflakes and pictures. So that would be a really great book if you like Snowflake Bentley to look for as well. That'd be a great addition. And so those were the books that we read. And like I said, it was a week-long study. And we do our nature study in the midst of our morning basket. Now, if you don't do a morning basket, obviously you can do nature study anytime. But we like to start our day with our morning basket, and then towards the end of it, before I do our read aloud, we do our nature study time. And that kind of gives me an idea. We just go till lunch, and so I know how much time we can spend on the nature study. Sometimes we go outside for nature walks, and then sometimes we do mini studies like this one here. And unfortunately, the week that we did this, we did not have snow, of course. Of course it's going to work out that way. So obviously, if you have snow when you do a nature study like this, then definitely get out and do a nature walk in it. Look for animal tracks. Try to catch snowflakes if it's snowing. So obviously, that's what you want to do, when you have a snow nature study. But there's still some activities that we did, even though we weren't able to actually use snow. One of the activities that we did was just a comprehension activity using task cards. I will link in the description below the blog post that I wrote that complements this video and has links for all of the books we used and has more descriptions on our activities, and then also has some additional books and activities at the bottom that I'm not going to talk about here that you might want to look at. And so I'll also link to those task cards if you want to check those out. They're designed for upper elementary, but you can certainly use them for many ages. Probably not preschool age, but lower elementary definitely. Then the next activity that we did the following day was some fun art. My kids love doing any kind of art. And we've recently been doing some watercolors. We belong to this program that once a month sends out tutorials on a couple of different watercolor pictures that you can do. And so this month was perfect because it was snowflakes. And so this is one of the examples of what my boys did. I got to follow along with them in my own books, so that was really fun. And even our 3-year-old joined in. And so that is an activity that you definitely can do for all ages, 2, 3 to adult. And so I'll link to that program in my blog post also, and you can check that out. And then another activity that we did, since we couldn't go and get the snowflakes, we made our own snowflakes. And so we just used paper for this one. You can certainly use colored paper. One of my children wanted a colorful one, so he used crayons to kind of color it in. Even my 3-year-old made his own little snowflakes. I showed them how to fold up their paper and how to cut it. And so this was a fun activity, worked on fine motor skills, and, not as fun as going out and playing in snow, but still a fun activity. And then the final activity that we did was one that was really fun, and the boys have already been asking me if we can make them again, was making snowflake crystals. And we just used borax and boiling water in a mason jar, stirred it together, and then attached, this is a pipe cleaner underneath, and we just attached it in with a string and a dowel and let it sit overnight, and then pulled them out to wonderful little crystals of snowflakes. I do have some video and pictures about making those in my Instagram highlights. So if you're on Instagram, check out the link in the description below and you can see that in action. So hopefully that gives you some ideas on some fun snow activities and books that you can use for your own snowflake nature study. Be sure to check out my blog post for more ideas. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel because I make videos at least once a week, and I like to share things that we've been doing in our homeschool, like this unit study. I like to share ideas on how we set up our day, like the morning baskets that we do. And then I also like to just give kinds of different tips of homeschooling and organization and curriculum and so on. So if you are a homeschool parent or even thinking about it, definitely subscribe so that you don't miss any future videos. But hopefully that gives you some fun ideas that you can use in your homeschool. I'd love to hear about yours, so feel free to comment below about some fun activities that you do. I thank you for watching, and happy homeschooling.